Chapter 5. Save People. A check for 500,000 yuan. Gu Ning didn't get involved at once. She decided to observe for a while, waiting for a perfect timing. The suspect held the gun, aiming at the female doctor. They were so close. If Gu Ning couldn't catch the suspect quickly, he might feel threatened and shoot, which would cause bad result. Gu Ning glanced over the open balcony. There was a pile of miscellaneous goods at the right side of the exit. Gu Ning used it to cover herself and moved closer to them. Yang Hao, what do you want? Facing the gun, the female doctor was trembling. What do I want? The suspect, Yang Hao, snorted. Then he said angrily with his eyes full of fierceness, "And Kayan, it's all because of you that I end up like this. What do I want? The hospital has fired me. My wife left me for another man. It's you. It's all because of you." Speaking of this, and Kayan felt aggrieved. She argued, "That's all because of your immoral behaviors. As a doctor, you disobeyed the basic rules. You've secretly accepted the money from the patient's family and ignored a life. I simply rescued a person." "Shut up. That's my own business. You don't have any right to interfere," Yang Hao snapped. His hand around the gun tightened. "Now, have someone transfer 5 million yuan to my account, or I'll shoot." And Kayan was trembling with fear. She swallowed down with great force. I don't have that much at all, but I have 2 million yuan. No, I want a total 5 million yuan. That bitch left me exactly for that amount of money. I'll grab her back with the same amount of money." Yang Hao seemed crazily excited and was likely to shoot. Meanwhile, with the cover of the miscellaneous goods, Gu Ning had moved to Yang Hao's back, 2 meters away from him. Seeing Yang Hao being emotionally excited, Gu Ning was startled. She was worried that he would shoot by accident. Yang Hao was unusually excited now, intending to do evil things. What Yang Hao had done today was illegal. Even if he could get 5 million yuan today, he still would be punished by the law. He wouldn't have chanced to win his wife back. Besides, his wife wouldn't come back to him neither. And the other man, who had given Yang Hao's wife 5 million yuan, must be a man of great wealth. If Yang Hao's wife had left him for money, she certainly wouldn't leave a wealthy man for him. Even if Yang Hao's wife didn't care about the money, Yang Hao was a suspect now. He would be caught and put in jail sooner or later. If Yang Hao's wife chose to stay by his side, she would lose both Yang Hao and the money. Gu Ning was now worried and Kayan would say something that would irritate Yang Hao. The man could lose his control and shoot. Then, Gu Ning wouldn't have chanced to save her. Fortunately, and Kayan was smart enough to notice Yang Hao was emotionally excited. She softened her voice and comforted. "No problem. I'll transfer 5 million yuan to you, but I only have 2 million yuan on my account, and I need to call my family for the rest." As long as she could survive, she would pay 5 million yuan for it. She believed the police could catch Yang Hao later. Gu Ning thought otherwise. Yang Hao wasn't dumb to let go of Kayan. If he did so, Kayan must call the police afterwards. Accordingly, even if Yang Hao could get the money, he couldn't get away with it. Hearing Kayan agreed at the end, Yang Hao was relieved. "Great, but you have to use the speaker." "Sure." Kayan pulled out her phone, trembling still. Yang Hao seemed a little tired after holding the gun for a long time. He loosed his hand. Right at that moment, Gu Ning seized her chance. She rushed out rapidly to Yang Hao. The latter was knocked down on the floor directly, due to his lack of preparation. The gun in a loosened hand was thrown out as well, and fell down several meters away. It all happened too fast, and Kayan was struck dumb without knowing her phone was dropped on the ground. But it was not the end yet. Without the gun, Yang Hao was merely an opponent to Gu Ning. Before he could fight back, Gu Ning hit Yang Hao into unconsciousness. In case he might be awake later, Gu Ning found a rope and tied him, plugging his mouth with a rag. "Call the police." Gu Ning looked at Kayan, who had no idea what to do. "Oh, right. Kayan finally got her mind back, and found her phone was missing. She stood still for a while before finding out her phone was lying on the ground. She immediately picked it up, but before she could dial out, her phone rang. Kayan was startled. She saw the caller's name, and answered it at once. "Hi, Dad. Kayan, where are you now?" "I'm at the open balcony of inpatient department." Kayan told her father what had happened. Then she asked, "Dad, shall I call the police or?" Gu Ning frowned. She didn't understand why Kayan said that. What else did she want to do except calling the police? "What? How is this possible? Are you all right?" Kayan's father was extremely worried. His heart was in his throat now. "Dad, I'm fine now." Kayan replied, "Wait for me. I'll be right there. And, do not call the police now." Kayan's father said. Kayan agreed, then hung up the phone. Gu Ning had good hearing. She had heard clearly what Kayan's father had said. When Kayan finished her call, Gu Ning asked with puzzle, "Why don't you call the police?" "Because if I called the police, the whole hospital would know it. The people would be alarmed, which is the last thing I want to see. And Kayan explained. Gu Ning thought it was reasonable, so she closed her mouth. And Kayan added, but Yang Hao will definitely be sent to the police station, in private. I've already recorded the dialogue between us. His fingerprints were also on the gun, which is the proof too. Recorded. Gu Ning now was respectful of Kayan. Being in such a dangerous situation, she was still able to record. By the way, thank you so much for saving my life. And Kayan thanked Gu Ning sincerely. She drew out a check and a pen from her clothing, writing on it for a second, then gave it to Gu Ning. I don't know how to thank you actually. This is a check for 500,000 yen. Please take it. Gu Ning stared at the check. She frowned. Although she badly needed money now, she wasn't willing to accept the check. She had her own principles. Since she had given out a helping hand on her own initiative, she didn't ask for payment. Gu Ning refused with determination. I didn't save your life for money. Please take this check back. And Kayan was surprised, but she didn't doubt whether Gu Ning rejected the check because it wasn't enough. She felt the kindness from the young lady instead.